Welcome into Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. My name is Madeline Burke, alongside the Super Bowl champion Sean O'Hara, back at MetLife Stadium for a Week 15 matchup. The Giants hosting the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens coming out on top, 35-14 is the final score. And Sean, coming into this game, you knew it was going to be a tough matchup for this Giants team. The way Lamar Jackson has been playing this season, the way Derrick Henry has been looking this season. But what we saw from Lamar and this Ravens offense was really hard to contain if you're a Giants, for the Giants.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Matt. Coming into this game all week long, it was stop Derrick Henry, stop the run, contain that, make them one-dimensional. And look, we talked earlier this week about, hey, Lamar Jackson and the threat with his legs. He's been phenomenal with his arm. And I thought the passing offense of the Baltimore Ravens is really what took over this game today. And Derrick Henry, look, he didn't do a lot. And he was very, they used him very intermittently. But he didn't have to do much because Lamar Jackson sat back there with all day sometimes, way too much time to throw, and he picked apart this Giants secondary. I think the way the game started, look, the Giants defense, Adoree Jackson gets a strip fumble on the very first possession. Boom, they get the ball out. It was the inability of the Giants offense early on in this game to convert anything. They went 3-0 in the first two possessions, and you could see the offense was just going to struggle today. And I thought third down offensively was really their nemesis. Every single time they got in third down, Baltimore had a blitzer. They had an extra rusher, somebody coming in unblocked to the quarterback, and that ended up being the Giants' undoing on third down. So, look, I thought the defense did a good job against the run game, but ultimately Lamar Jackson in this passing offense with Mark Andrews and with Bateman, they just kind of slice and dice this secondary.
Right. And you mentioned that early play in the first quarter. Adoree Jackson comes away with the strip on Lamar Jackson. The takeaways were a point of emphasis, winning the turnover battle at one point. They were up +1. They came out even in that one as well. But it just wasn't enough because the defense would put the offense in that position, offense unable to convert. We saw several times where the offense was in a short field position, first and goal or within field goal range, and wasn't able to get out of there with points on the board. What were the struggles there?
Yeah, third down was the issue. And look, all season long, third down has been a struggle for the Giants, but it's because it's been third and long, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15. These were manageable third downs. The first third down of the game was 3rd and 2, and it's an errant pass by DeVito, misses, I think it was Tracy, on the in-cut. So that should have been an easy completion. And then again, later on in the game, it was 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, even the 4th and 1 conversion ends up being a fumble. Those situations in football, 3rd and short, 4th and short, that's how you continue drives, and you have to be successful at those. The fact that the Giants weren't able to convert on them, some of them were bad throws, some of them were bad reads. I mentioned the blitzes on defense. On third down, you got a variety of different looks, different coverages, different blitzes, and it did not seem like, whether it was DeVito or whether it was Boyle, did not seem like they were comfortable back there knowing that they were picked up or knowing who the unblocked defender was going to be. There were a number of passes by Doyle. He was kind of like, it was like a fadeaway. He was off the back foot, kind of falling out of the bar as he's throwing the ball up for grabs. Really the biggest plays offensively and the best drives came because of some of the defensive penalties. Yeah. The penalty on DeVito, the unnecessary roughness on the quarterback, and then the pass interference down the field. So those ended up being some of the best drives. Right,
and Tommy DeVito, of course, left this game at the end of the first half with a concussion. Tim Boyle played the second half. It's got to be tough, though, for Boyle coming in. He's been on and off of the Giants practice squad for the last several weeks, and then now kind of coming in and playing the bulk of the second half and trying to navigate this offense. That's a challenge for a player to do at any position, but especially at quarterback.
Yeah, it's a challenge just to kind of get some rhythm and get some confidence, really. And, all right, here are some plays that I understand and that I know can work. And then it's also a challenge as a play caller because you want to call some of these big plays, but you also don't want to put him behind the 8 ball. You don't want to put him in a bad situation. You also are kind of handcuffed because how much can you change at the line? So even if you call a play and then you come up to the line and you realize, man, the defense is in a bad – this is not a good defense to run this play against. I don't know if he has the wherewithal or the understanding of the offense to change the play at the line and get you out of a mess. So you could see that the offense kind of changed when Doyle came in at quarterback. It was a lot of quicker passes, a lot of screens, trying to get the ball out of his hand quick, get the ball into Neighbors, get the ball outside to Wan'Dale Robinson, and kind of some elementary plays to try to build some confidence, build some rhythm, and get a drive going.
Well, and they did. They got a couple of drives going. They got a couple touchdowns late in the game. Tim Boyle found Malik Neighbors in the end zone for a touchdown there as well. Little bright spot, but it wasn't enough as the Giants fall to the Ravens 35-14. We've got more to come, though, as we continue to unpack this Week 15 loss at home. But Giants fans, it's Moody's. Decode risk, unlock opportunity. You can learn more at moodys.com. After the break, we're going to hear from head coach Brian Dable, see what he has to say as the Giants fall to 2-11 on the season. 35-14 loss to the Ravens. But Giants fans, reminder that guests of our post-game show receive a gift certificate to Ben & Jack's located on 44th Street in Manhattan. From the celebrated porterhouse to finer seafood, Ben & Jack's will surpass your expectations of what a steakhouse should be. More Giants post-game live after this. Hey, Giants fans, join the Giants text alert community for breaking news, sweepstakes, ticket offers, and important game day information. Just scan the QR code on your screen or text GIANTS to 201-636-1569 to get started today. Welcome back to Giants Post Game Live. Madeline Burke and Sean O'Hara here at MetLife Stadium as the Giants fall to the Ravens. 35-14 is the final score in a Week 15 loss to Baltimore. But for more on this game, let's send it down to the field where Paul Dottino and Brandon London are standing by.
Well, thanks again, Madeline. And Brandon, when you look at this game, the Giants were so badly shorthanded going in, especially in the defensive side of the ball. And yet it was 21-7 at the half. They gave up a late touchdown drive of 80 yards at the end of the second quarter, but they tried to hang in as best as they could against the team that is contending for a championship.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like, you're fighting against a heavyweight champ and you got one arm per se because of the guys that have been injured on that starting defense. But at the end of the day, Paul, they were able to get that turnover early. They had some juices and some momentum going early in that first half. It's just unfortunate you weren't able to close out the first half on a good note, on a positive note, because when you go into halftime, and you guys are talking about re-energizing it and going into the second half, you want to be able to go in there on a positive note to make whatever adjustments you want with confidence and not in terms of, all right, we're behind. Now, that's when teams have to panic when you're behind going into the second half.
One thing that did excite the Giants fans here in the building today, Malik Neighbors, 10 catches, 82 yards, including a spectacular 23-yard touchdown grab late. He made a nice adjustment on the ball.
Yeah, it's great for him to be able to show his skill set, for people to continue to evaluate him, and for fans to get excited about him being a core piece for the future. We've seen this guy since he walked in from rookie camp. He's been nothing but spectacular. The fans want to see that on a consistent basis, so it was great for him to be able to go out there, put his skill set on tape, and make the spectacular catches that got him drafted 6 overall.
Now, the rush defense, again, pretty good for the second week in a row. They hold to Derrick Henry, 14 carries, 67 yards. Problem is Lamar Jackson gave them an awful lot of trouble throwing 5 touchdown passes, 290 in the air and 65 on the ground.
It's a pick your poison when it comes to those two guys. Madden just put both of those guys in the 99 Madden club for a reason. So we talk about the Giants defense going into this game, how without a Dexter Lawrence, they were probably going to struggle, but they held tight against the run, Paul. And again, I understand that may not be the playoffs in the future for this season, but you're evaluating pieces. So for guys to be able to step in and be able to run stop, especially a guy as great and as good as Derrick Henry, you're able to evaluate some pieces for the future as well. But like you said, unfortunately, Lamar Jackson was able to have some success today.
Now, I love the mentality and the aggressiveness of trying to play spoiler. The Giants were down 7-0 early in this game. They drive from their own 26 and have a 4th and 1 at the Baltimore 30. Now, they try the quarterback sneak. They don't get it, and they come up empty there. But they were trying to make a statement to the Ravens like, hey, you're not going to come in here and beat us like it's a pushover. The Giants wanted to fight in this game.
Absolutely, and that just goes to show how they're being coached at practice. You're being coached by coaches who want you to go out and play, and they say, hey, we're going to have the confidence in you guys to go and convert on the 4th down early to try and give ourselves a puncher's chance to win this game. Unfortunately, anything under 4th and 1, that's on us to play. We got to make the coaches right for the call for having the confidence in us.
No, they've got 3 more games to put some good things on tape. That's it from the field. Let's go back upstairs.
Thanks so much, Paul Dottino and Brandon London. And Sean, one of the things that they brought up is Derrick Henry. Coming into this game, Derrick Henry is a couple weeks away from being 31 years old and yet having a career season. He's averaging over 5 yards per carry on the season. Today they held him to just 67 yards, but again, a pick your poison type of scenario because Lamar Jackson and the rest of this offense went off. But when you can contain a player like Derrick Henry, and in the moments we see Dane Belton kind of wrapping him up effectively, What does that say to you about the kind of fight in this Giants defense?
Yeah, I think the defense came to play and they came to tackle. That was the big question, was you've got a big running back like that. In a season like this, you're wondering, like, are guys going to tap out? Or they came to the stadium ready to play. And look, Derrick Henry was not really involved in the offense a lot to start the game. He was really more of a decoy. They were faking the ball to him a lot, and Lamar was actually the one kind of keeping the ball, doing some quarterback design runs, a little bit of an option read there. But I thought the Giants defense swarmed to the ball. When you look at the 170 yards rushing today, it didn't feel like that. And I think when you looked at the offense, you didn't think that they were getting gashed defensively, and it wasn't big running plays. It was just the passing plays. It was literally, and one of the challenges is, all right, you want to stop the run, so sometimes you play a little more zone defense or you change the coverage because you want to get an extra defender in there to stop the run, and that's where they were able to exploit the Giants defense. They were able to get guys running wide open, which seemed like on third down, they always had an answer for whatever the Giants were doing defensively.
Absolutely, and to your point as well, Lamar kept it and ran for himself quite a bit. Listened to his mother, who encouraged him to do so.
Right. She's
ran
not going to be
for
happy.
65 yards today.
He threw a little too.
Absolutely, absolutely, he did. He threw for 290 and ran for 65, but the Giants fell to the Ravens 35-14. All right, we've got more to come here. We're waiting on head coach Brian Daboll to head to the podium. As soon as he does, we'll send it down to hear more from the head coach after the Week 15 loss at home. But Giants fans, the official 100th season book titled New York Football Giants, The People, The Moments, The Traditions is now available exclusively at the Giants online shop. This book explores the top 100 players of all time, one of whom on set with me today, as well as unforgettable games and stories that have defined the franchise for the last century. Visit the Giants online shop to get yours today. Giants fans, limited tickets are available for the last home game of the season against the Indianapolis Colts right here at MetLife Stadium on December 29th. Visit Giants.com/tickets or scan the QR code on your screen to secure your seat today. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. The Giants fell to the visiting Baltimore Ravens. 35-14 was the final score. But now, let's send it down to the podium as head coach Brian Daboll prepares to address the media.
So Boyle had to play that second half there. Played a good team. They played well. We didn't play well enough.
Coach, you've been around football, a lot of levels, different levels. You've seen the good and the not so good. What do you tell the young, specifically the younger players who are going through the type of results they're getting right now, for them to stay into it?
Yeah, be a pro. Control what you can control. Go out there, give effort, prepare, and go out there and play as good as you can play.
You know, when Tommy kind of got dinged up there, was it during the penalty?
No, I don't know if it was the penalty or after that. It was just he came off, talked to him a little bit, and then right before we were going to go out there, that 2-minute drive, I went over to him and talked about a particular play. We had a couple timeouts, and I just saw, I kind of saw his eyes. I said, I asked the trainer to come over, take a look at him, and then they took a look at him, and so it was right after that touchdown series that we drove down.
What was it about Lamar that made him so difficult? I mean, we know he's a great player, obviously.
He's difficult to defend every week, Jordan. I mean, against any team he plays. He's a dynamic player. He's the reason why he's a 2-time MVP, and he's really good.
Even with all your defensive shortcomings, depletions, and guys come to practice.
With what?
With all the depletions, secondary, things like that. The bus and the wide open coverage. I mean, I'm sure you don't want to see that no matter who's back there.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you see? There's so many easy completions.
One of them, guy ran a good route, and Lamar found him. Another one was third and short. He made a great, unbelievable throw and toe tap catch. I mean, they played well. Give them credit. They're a good football team. We knew that. He's a dynamic player. That number 8, he's dynamic.
On the quarterback sneak that you didn't get in the first half,
Yeah.
Tommy, you seemed to be a little upset afterwards. Was it a certain play call, formation? What
No, just wanted to get the first down. All good?
I mean, probably goes without saying, but how difficult is this to get administered another loss at home? This one was one-sided, wasn't close at
Yeah,
all.
I mean, these guys are are doing everything they can do. So ran into a good football team with a lot of good football players, and they played well, and we didn't play well.
How do you describe where your team is mentally at this point? Obviously, you've lost 9 straight.
Yeah. Look, all we can do is control what we control. So.
Do you sense that they're down? Do you sense that they're still keeping their head up? Like, what do you see from them?
Yeah, they're competing. I mean, we got to yell. Look, there's a lot of guys in and out. They're competing. I appreciate the way they're competing. Just not getting the results.
What will the message be to the guys in practice this week?
Get ready to play a game.
What do you think of the way Malik battled? I mean, he got knocked around. He came in, came out, made that touchdown at the end. You know, he was.
Yeah, it was blitz zero. It was a good play by Boyle. Drifted back. Didn't have enough to protect it, but he saw it and laid it up there. Malik made a nice play. He had 2 big plays that helped us. We had 3 actually. 1 to Slayton, 2 to Malik on pass interference penalties. Productive.
You watch that in a young player, a rookie like that, battling down the stretch of a hard season to see how he's, you know.
No, you watch every player. National Football League, they're all professionals.
When you go with Boyle, do you have to modify the plays because he hasn't been with the team that long, and does it limit how you call the plays?
No, he knows the plays. Yep.
Dave, when you've gone through the last 4 weeks of what you've gone through at quarterback, and then you look on the other side and you see what Lamar's doing, I mean, is there an appreciation for as long as you've been in this league of how a special player in that spot can make a difference?
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty important position, and he's one of the best in the league, and you saw that out there today. Again, I said it all week. He's a fun player to watch, evaluate. He's no moment too big, makes a variety of throws, can escape, can make plays go 10, 11, 12 seconds. He's the dynamic football player and leader of that team.
What do you think when there was a plane flying above the stadium again today, and this one said, "Please fire everybody"?
Yeah, just control what we can control.
Paraphrase.
That doesn't impact you at all to know that that's the sentiment from at least a section of the fan base that wants.
Yeah, just control what we can control. Get ready to play a game this week.
Do you think it's a distraction?
No, I didn't know about it until you told me right now. So control what we can control. Get ready to go ahead and have a good week. And whoever's available, get them ready to play.
With Drew, what's your optimism level that he can actually get back this week?
Don't know. Too early.
It's his heel more than his elbow at this point.
Yeah.
You guys have to get it going now to see about bringing in another quarterback with Tommy in the protocol.
Yeah, fresh. Let's see where we're at here tomorrow. Go through all the injuries like we normally do, and do what we need to do.
What do you think you have to do to prevent change from happening?
Yeah, control we can control. Get ready to play next week.
Anything else?
Okay.
That sound from head coach Brian Daboll, brought to you by your local Ford stores. Ford is proud to be the official truck of the New York Football Giants. Sean, it looks like the theme of Brian Daboll's press conference is control what you can control, right? Whatever is within your control, you got to execute and do your best at. But there's a lot that's outside of the control of the players and of the organization. One thing, for instance, is the amount of quarterbacks that the Giants have gone through. Of course, waiving Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito gets hurt, Drew Lock gets hurt, Tim Boyle now in there. When you look at the kind of revolving door at quarterback, it's hard to have any consistency on offense like that.
No doubt about it. I mean, look, the Giants are in quarterback hell right now, and that's exactly where you don't want to be as an NFL franchise. I don't know what Brian Daboll's supposed to do when he goes up there and he gets peppered with these questions. Like, you're clearly outmanned. You're playing the team that was in the AFC Championship game last year, lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, and they reloaded. They got better.
Yeah.
They added Derrick Henry. Like, this is a totally different caliber team right now, and you couple it with the fact that they are so ravaged by injuries right now, not just at the quarterback position. So You're going into a game where you're outmanned, and you don't even have your full roster. So when a coach says control, we can't control injuries. We can't control what happens. We can't control who's available to us or who's not available to us. All we can do is go out there with the guys that we have and try to make the most of the opportunity. Look, I think for Brian Daboll, he's as frustrated as anybody. When you're a play caller too, it's challenging. And I know he said, look, he stuck up for Tim Doyle saying he knows the plays, but he may know the plays, but he doesn't have the 1,000 reps that most quarterbacks have as they go into a game day on Sunday. So there is a learning curve there. There's kind of learn on the fly almost offensively to find out what you want to do. That being said, look, Tim Doyle did make a couple of decent throws, and I thought the touchdown throw that he talked about, it was blitz zero. There was an unblocked defender coming off the edge. It was a 4-2-5 double mug defense. The two inside guys come, the guy off the edge is unblocked. He knew it. He had to get the ball out. Maybe with another quarterback, that's a sack. So give credit to Doyle that he saw the blitz, let the ball rip. But, look, if you're Brian Dable right now, you're looking at your team and you're saying, look, we have to fight. We've got to do everything we can to try to win a football game. But scoring 14 points, again, is not going to get it done.
Right. And to Boyle's credit, he wasn't afraid to push the ball downfield to get some big chunk yardage gains right there. And they were able to make some things happen late. But again, too little, too late. It wasn't enough. The Giants fall to the Ravens 35-14. We're going to continue to unpack this one as we get some more sound from the locker room. We're going to hear from Malik Neighbors, Micah McFadden, and more as Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health, continues after this quick timeout.
What you saw today was my first time playing with those guys, so definitely a cool learning experience. But feeling speed and the O-line, I think they really did a good job today. The O-line did a good job. The Ravens presented a lot of tough looks, especially on third down. I think our guys up front handled it really well. So kudos to our guys up front.
Tim, I'm sure the wristband is helpful, but reasonably, how much of the playbook did you have a grasp of?
Yeah, I knew all of it. We have a couple code words here and there that are still I'm still working through, but I'd say 99% of the offense is pretty much down for me, and I want to learn everything as fast as possible. It's not really one of those things I want to baby myself through. I want to be able to present myself in a game and look at Dabes and say, hey, call whatever you want. I'll go run it and run it well. So to answer your question, I'm pretty much caught up on the offense over the past couple of weeks and feel pretty comfortable.
As a quarterback, when you throw a deep ball like that to Neighbors and he makes the adjustment and makes the play for the touchdown, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, it makes my job a lot easier. Yeah, he's one of those special players. You kind of just got to throw it up to him and let him do his thing. But you always know where number one's on the field. He's in the back of your mind as a quarterback. If stuff's kind of hitting the fence a little bit, you gotta throw it up to number one. So I'm glad he made the catch. I threw a couple balls to him today that were got away from me a little bit that he made wonderful adjustments on, and just goes to show how special of a player he is. We got to continue to get him the ball.
That's Giants quarterback Tim Boyle, who took over in the second half for an injured Tommy DeVito. We take a look at his numbers today against the Ravens. Went 12 of 24, 123 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, but quite the headshot there for Mr. Boyle.
He's got a nice do.
Got a nice do.
Loft looks good.
Absolutely great.
Kudos to him for giving his O-lineman some love, too. How about that? They protected really well, picked up a lot of the blitz. He's a quarterback that you'd love to play for when he comes out, and that's his opening statement. Like, I love my guys up front. They took care of me. They picked up a lot of different looks, a lot of different blitzes. We were kind of alluding to that before, but I'm impressed with the poise. I mean, look, he just stood up there, not just on the field, but I'm talking about right now, standing up there saying, hey, look, I told Dave, don't baby me. Like, I want to call the plays. I don't want him to be handcuffed because I'm in there. And it's like, look, he basically told Dave, take the training wheels off. Let's go. It's go time. Let me run the offense, call everything as you would normally. And look, I give him credit for that. Like, that takes a lot of confidence, takes a lot of belief in yourself, and I'm sure Dave's appreciated it too.
And we heard Dave's in his media availability too talking about, no, he knows the place. He's good. And asked about, did you have to kind of rein it in too? The two of them clearly on the same page with that.
Yeah, and you could tell because, look, the ball was coming out. Look, there were a couple of throws, and I mentioned that he was kind of throwing off his back foot, and he was kind of trying to buy that extra time to get the ball out because there was an unblocked defender coming. But that was, because of the packages. Baltimore ran a ton of blitz zero today, which is designed to get that free hitter. Right. I think he saw a lot of that. I thought he played very courageous, and you know what? It sounds like mentally he's locked in, and he's only been here for a few weeks.
Right, only for a few weeks, and again, mostly on the practice squad. And as you heard him say too, what we saw today on the field was the first time he was playing with a lot of these guys and kind of picking up, going with it and going for it in the moment, doing the best they can. One of the guys that he was playing with for the first time today, running back Devin Singletary, he is now speaking in the locker room. Let's hear from him.
Devin, you've been around this league for a while, so I know you've experienced all the ups and all the kinds of downs. As one of the veteran leaders here, what are the kinds of things that you tell some of your teammates after a rough one like this?
Yeah, man, I mean, this whole year it's been tough, but really all we can do is keep going, try to find a way in these last few weeks and get a win. That's the biggest thing right now. I know it's tough, but we got to find a way to keep going and stick together.
You guys showed a little muscle on that touchdown, getting it into the end zone. That always has to be a good feeling, no matter what the situation.
Yeah, it always feels good to get a tug. No matter which way you get it, it always feels good to get one.
I thought the 4th down and 1 early in the game, you were down 7-0. You guys went with the sneak. I thought that was a good statement because it showed that the coaches wanted to make sure the Ravens knew you guys were going to be in a fight and in a game. Didn't get it. But I thought the philosophy was good for the players.
Yeah, no, I agree. We definitely didn't come to lay down. We came to try to get a win. We went out fighting. It just didn't go our way.
What about their defense was a bit flummoxing today? I mean, it was 21-7 at halftime. It didn't get anything going early in the game to keep up with them.
Yeah, I mean, they real sound. They disciplined. They don't get out of gaps too much. And, they good. They got guys that fly around.
Devin, thanks for your time.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate it.
As Giants running back Devin Singletary with our Paul Dottino. He had 8 carries for 25 yards, 3.1 per carry, adding 3 receptions for 16 yards and 3 targets today in the Giants' loss to the Ravens. We've got more sound coming your way, though. After the break, we're going to hear from Giants wide receiver Malik Neighbors. That and more as we continue to break down the game on Giants Postgame Live. More after this.
What's going to be expected in your future, but, trying to turn it around. We're hoping do our best every time. I mean, losses and wins happen. I mean, I'm not really used to winning. I mean, I won in LSU with Jaden. I mean, before then, I was a part of some losing teams, but, just keep on fighting. Even though it's a lot of losses, you still got to go out there and try your best to get a win. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to show my grit, trying to show my dog mentality to go out there and keep playing, rather than me being hurt or not.
What are you taking from those years of not winning that you said come before those Jaden years? I guess at that point.
Try to put great pieces together to win. I mean, you got to have all the right pieces together to have a winning program. I mean, we're just trying to find those pieces to help us, win. And that's really it.
What do you think those pieces are?
I'm not sure yet. I'm sure, upstairs going to do a great job trying to find, the missing pieces to that. So I'm going to lead them to do that.
How'd you feel playing with Tim?
For him to come out here, he's been with the team, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? And it looked like he knew the offense just as a first-string quarterback. I mean, I pick up the offense pretty slow, but, for him to go out there, toss the ball around, give us chances on footballs, try to go out there and do the best of his ability to, try to get another win. I think he played a great game to say, something came about and he just had to go in there and play.
That's Giants wide receiver Malik Neighbors, 10 receptions today for 82 yards, including a 23-yard touchdown. His 10 receptions put him at 90 on the season, just 15 receptions shy of the rookie receptions record set last season by Puka Nacua of 105. So we'll see if he gets to that number in the remaining 3 games of the season. One of the things I love that Neighbors said, though, too, was kind of his admiration about how Tim Boyle came in, how confident he was, and how well he knew this offense. And he said, hey, honestly, it took me a while to learn this offense. I mean, I remember talking to players, even some of the veteran players in training camp this year, talking about how complicated the offense can be. And the ability to come in for Boyle and to learn it and to have that confident command is something special.
Yeah, I'm sure Boyle appreciates the words from Neighbors, and I really appreciate the Graham Gano hat that Neighbors is wearing, the double G.
That's what that is.
I think when you look at that, it is impressive that Boyle was able to come in there and pick up the offense like that. The fact that Neighbors understands that and can appreciate that, I think that just goes to show that the relationship between him and Boyle, look, it's something that he understands, and they've had some reps in practice. So obviously game day is a totally different situation, but you could tell there was a little bit of rhythm. They got the ball into Malik's hands early on in this game, and it wasn't just in the passing game. They gave him the ball on a jet sweep. They tried to get him involved and get his confidence and his rhythm going. So, look, the touchdown throw, I mean, look, it might have been a little bit behind him. He did a great job adjusting, but I think that's what great players do. Look, all you ask is your quarterback to put the ball up, give me a chance to make a play, give me a chance to make you look great, and I'm going to come through on you. And that's what quarterbacks love. They love a guy like Neighbors, that I can put the ball in your area code and you're going to come down with it. You're going to make a great catch.
Absolutely, and it was a great connection. It was great to see, especially considering the limited reps they've had in practice. None, really, coming into this game. We've talked quite a bit about the offensive side of the ball for the Giants, but the defense, obviously a tough challenge with this Baltimore Ravens team coming in, fighting for their playoff lives, coming off a bye with fresh legs. But Micah McFadden, a player who had quite the game today, he's now speaking in the locker room. Let's send it down and hear what the linebacker had to say.
Micah, the dual threat with Jackson in the backfield, and of course Henry, you knew coming in it was going to be a huge challenge. It looked like you contained Henry somewhat, but Jackson was a big problem.
Yeah, no, they're two really good players over there. Obviously did a good job extending plays and finding the receivers down the field. It's definitely a difficult task with those guys for sure back there.
Again, Henry did not have his typical kind of game. Could you tell me what it's like to try to stop a double-decker bus like him?
Yeah, he's a big back for sure. You need 2 or 3 guys at the point of attack. I think we did a good job for the most part. We didn't let him, break one, like he normally does. But it's 2 running backs back there for sure. So difficult task, but I thought the guys played hard. I thought we communicated well, but too many big plays for sure.
Yeah, there were a couple of busts, it looked like, on a couple of big passes that were critical. It was 21-7 at halftime, only because they had scored a late touchdown late in the second quarter. But I thought you guys defensively had really fought very hard up to that point.
Yeah, I thought they had 2 or 3 plays in the first half, but for the most part, I think we were doing a good job stopping the run game. But yeah, like you said, they got a few plays there at the end, and obviously we would have liked to stop that 3rd touchdown in the first half, keep it closer for the offense coming back in the second half. But he found the receivers when he was scrambling, and obviously he made the plays when he was getting out of the pocket as well.
Thank you.
As Giants linebacker Micah McFadden, he had 7 tackles today, 11 combined, and a sack. Career high 3 sacks this season after getting one today, Sunday, Week 15 against Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Madeline, how about 11 tackles? And if it's a tackle against Derrick Henry, it probably felt like 22.
Exactly.
And also Lamar Jackson, not an easy tackle as well. Micah McFadden was all over the field today.
All over the field today, earned it, worked for it, absolutely. We've got more to come as we continue to break down this game on Giants Postgame Live. After the break, we're going to hear from Brian Burns. That and more as Giants Postgame Live, presented by Hackensack Meridian Health, continues after this short break. Stay with us. Hey, Giants fans, check out the Eli Manning Show presented by Panini Prism Trading Cards. All you have to do is subscribe to the Giants YouTube channel to catch all of the new shows. It's the Eli Manning Show. Subscribe today. An Eli Manning Show with Sean O'Hara. Shenanigans are nothing you're not familiar with. But
They're guaranteed.
What about this kind of shenanigans? The shenanigans that we saw at halftime of today's game. Mascots versus kids.
Yeah, mascots, they were showing no mercy. Look at Sir Henry right here, the Rutgers. Oh, are you raw?
What do you know about that one?
How about that? And the Devil getting the pick right here. I tell you, the mascots, they definitely played with some anger and some violence. There you see Brandon London down there. Elton, there's the Mets with the belt. The mascots literally dominated these little 9-year-olds. They were not having it. There was no way they were going to let these 9-year-olds get a first down. There was a couple sacks. There might have been some personal fouls, but look, I think that the kids had a good time. The mascots may have had more fun.
They were stiff-arming them out there. Look at Sean. Sean, the coaching is key, I heard about this one.
Dable gave me his headset, and he said, here, you think it's so easy, you try it. And look, I just said, look, apparently I'm better at coaching right now than anybody because I got mascots to go out there and dominate. I mean, it was not even a contest. They were passionate. They were fired up. I think it was the speech.
It was the speech, absolutely. And and I felt like, I could tell that you and your Rutgers knight,
Sir Henry
were so closely bonded from day one that it just felt like the offense flowed.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He was representing on the banks of the Raritan with that run right there. And I feel like, look, there was a lot of the mascots that were insulted because the kids kept calling them Muppets. And so they were like, look, kid, we're not Muppets, all right? We're not furry friends right now. We are frenemies.
Yeah.
Right? We came to play, and they brought the thunder.
So do Muppets tackle like this?
Yeah.
No, they do not.
No, the
physicality was absolutely present at halftime for the mascots versus the kids in the football game. But physicality was also present with one Brian Burns. He had himself a game as well. Let's send it down to the locker room and hear what he had to say after this one.
It's tough. Like you said, we got a lot of guys banged up. A lot of guys had to step up, but at the end of the day, I look on the brighter side of things, the opportunity to show what they can do. It's going to be growing pains with guys that haven't, had a lot of experience. But Lamar's one of the best. He played a clean game. They executed well. Who really cares that we ain't got, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. How do you learn a lot about your teammates when you win and when you don't have the results? What are you learning right now as your team goes through this adversity?
My thing is you learn who's going to fight, and for the most part, I feel like our guys still play with a lot of effort. It may be some detailed things and some game plan scheme things that we could clean up, but for the most part, I ain't seen no quitting nobody. So.
As Brian Burns, as we take a look at his numbers today, and the Giants lost to the Ravens, 35-14 was the final score, but Burns had a sack, 2 combined tackles, his 5th straight season with 8 or more sacks after that one that he got today. And as we heard him say, too, the thing you learn about a team like this, the Giants team that's struggling, falling to 2-12 at this point, a lot of players are hurt. A lot of guys have to step up and say, hey, you're seeing who's going to fight, and this team is continuing to do so.
Yeah, I thought Burns, look, he played today and had a big sack. It's not easy. It's not easy to get sacks on a guy like Lamar Jackson. Like, he's sometimes even when you get home, when you beat the offensive lineman, he's so slippery. So getting there is half the battle. Getting him down is the second part. But, look, to Burns' point on there is, look, nobody cares. Nobody cares about our problems. Nobody cares about our injuries. That other team doesn't care. They're not going to feel sorry for us. I think that's the mindset that you have to have. This isn't about playing for next year or playing for my job next season. This is right now. I'm going out there right now for my brother to my right, my brother to my left. I'm going out there for these coaches that are spending nights in their office trying to put together game plans. Like, you sign up for a season. Mm-hmm. You're getting paid to go out there and play. You got to go out there and you got to show up. You got to put your best foot forward, and you got to play pissed off. And I think that's the way that Burns plays. I think that is contagious, and I think that he's trying to get everybody else on board with that as well. That's the only thing you could do at this point in time.
Absolutely, and you want to play in a way that your play will be remembered. And as we celebrate the 100th season of Giants football, we are remembering a lot of the great players that have played in this organization, in this franchise, which is why we're going to tee you up, and we're going to leave you with a little Name That Giant as we head to commercial break. This Giant, a first-round draft pick, 8th overall, NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year in 1979, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, 10,273 career rushing yards. Do you know that Giant? We'll take a guess after the break. We'll be back with the answer on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live with the little Name That Giant, a first-round draft pick, 8th overall, NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year in 1979, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and 10,273 career rushing yards. But Sean, you noticed something interesting about this graphic.
Yeah, I did. Number one, this is tricky because I was born in 1977, so I was only 2 years old when this guy was drafted and was Rookie of the Year. But first-round draft pick, I don't think he was actually drafted by the Giants. So 2-time Super Bowl champion, over 10,000 yards. I think this is my man, O.J. Anderson. The Juice. The original O.J. right there.
Go.
There he is. Look at that. Rookie of the Year. He was not just a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He's a Super Bowl MVP. Mm-hmm. And there he is right there, the Ring of Honor. 2 T's in Otis, by the way. I will also say, just a nice pitch right here, I think Otis Anderson belongs in the Hall of Fame. So when you look at his accolades and what he's done, obviously that's just a quick little snippet of what he's done. But I mentioned Super Bowl MVP. You look at some of his numbers and what he's done with some of the running backs that are in the Hall of Fame. I think a gold jacket should definitely be in his future.
Absolutely. Otis Anderson is that Giant, Hall of Fame worthy, number 24
and an even
on your
better
roster,
guy.
but number 1 in our hearts today.
Yeah, OJ's a great dude.
And a great guy as well, a great guy. We love to celebrate it. We love to celebrate all the greats that have come through this building and this franchise and this organization in its 100th season. But 100th season carries on because Week 16 is just around the corner. Week 15 in the books. We fell to the Ravens 35-14, but the next game, Giants are back on the road, Sean. The New York Football Giants visiting the Atlanta Falcons Sunday, December 22nd. It's a 1:00 p.m. kickoff. Now, the Falcons are playing on Monday Night Football this week, so we don't quite know their results yet. They are playing the Raiders in Las Vegas. You've got Kirk Cousins has been having his struggles recently. Yeah. Do you think that if things don't go well for the Falcons on Monday Night Football, that perhaps we could see Michael Penix out there?
Yeah, I think it's possible. And look, if you're the Atlanta Falcons, you're looking for any kind of reason to play one of your young bucks. And look, they drafted Penix in the first round, so if you can get him some play time. I don't think ideally it would be on a short week, but you never know. As you mentioned, Kirk Cousins, he's been up and down this year. The last couple of games, he's been giving the ball away a lot. So I think that's one of the first ways to the bench and to the sideline as a quarterback if you're not taking care of the football. But this Atlanta Falcons team, look, they're 6-7 right now. You mentioned they're playing the Raiders on Monday night. They're coming off of 4 straight losses. So, if they don't find a way to win on Monday night, it'll be 5 straight for them. They are a team that's reeling, but offensively, they have some studs. And Bijan Robinson is a guy that's really tough to tackle. He's tough to bring down. So I know that they'll lean heavily on him. They've got some really athletic receivers. Kyle Pitts at tight end, who's had his ups and downs as well. But it'll be a good challenge. And, again, it'll be another big-time running back that runs with a lot of power that will be hard to bring down.
Absolutely. And the Giants in recent weeks have done a fair job, between Derrick Henry this afternoon. You have Alvin Kamara last week, kind of taking these big-time running backs and limiting them from their full potential. Again, that'll be the challenge next week, along with finishing tackling, along with the turnover battle, and the question as to who will be the starting quarterback when these two teams face in Week 16. Because, again, we saw Tim Boyle finishing this game, Tommy DeVito in concussion protocol, Drew Lock working his way back. He's out of the boot, but he wasn't quite ready to be the backup quarterback yet this week. So a lot of questions around the Giants as well.
Yeah, no doubt. You mentioned the Giants defense, run defense specifically, has been pretty good. That's without Dexter Lawrence, without Bobby Okereke. So, Lawrence is on IR, but Okereke, maybe he can come back. Offensively, it's about points. And again, here we are, 14 points. They have to score. Like, you're not going to win many games scoring only 14 points. So, to your point, whether it's Boyle, whether it's DeVito, whether Drew Lock comes back, like, they need to find a way to get the ball in the end zone. And it starts with third down. Today, they were 2 for 12 on third down. That's not going to get it done. They've got to stay on the field, keep your defense fresh.
Well, and the Giants have played well on the road this season. If you look at the way they play away from MetLife Stadium, yes, they're 0-8 so far at home this season, but they have seemingly found a little spark away from home. Is there a key to that?
Yeah, I mean, the 2 wins, really, they've been on the road. I think the key is when you go on the road, you've got to run the football well early and often. You've got to be efficient. It doesn't have to be 100 yards rushing in the first half. It doesn't have to be 6 yards a pop. It just has to be the opportunity of, hey, they have to respect our run. And then everything builds off of that. Everything layers off of that. So it's got to be a big game by Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary.
As we heard from head coach Brian Daboll earlier in the show, the Giants' focus is to control what they can control and execute what they can execute and continue to prepare and do well with what they can each and every week. And we will be here after each and every game with more Giants Postgame Live as the Giants turn the page to Week 16 and the Atlanta Falcons as we close the page on the Baltimore Ravens. 35-14 was your final score. For Sean O'Hara, I'm Madeline Burke on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health.